So I injured my hamstring not last Wednesday, the Wednesday before that. So we're 2 days less of 2 weeks right now. And I want to give you another update and show the power of the carnivore diet, if I could talk right. So just show the power of the carnivore diet with recovery, with healing from injuries and so forth. So the first thing I want to put out there is that um, typically for a hamstring tear, the severity that I had, they would normally say around a 1 to 2 month at best, probably a little longer, closer to 2 to 3 months for recovery time frame. Now, when you factor in I'm 51 years old, I'm still overweight, that type of thing, that time frame, typical time frame goes up. The typical recovery is 8 to 16 weeks, which is 2 to 4 months. Okay. Um, that's the typical thing. Now, I've showed you before, but I'm going to show it again. The picture I have here of the bruising that was lower, just above the knee and maybe just below, or not below, but just behind the knee, in the groove part there, back of the knee. And that is the first bruising that I noticed. And it was one of those things where I said, I think that my hamstring injury was actually higher up, and maybe the bleeding trickled down to there, and that's why there was bruising there. And that bruising isn't too bad. Well, I thought that was all the bruising. And for the first time, I tried to look in a mirror after getting out of the shower. And this is on Sunday. So this is 3 days short of 2 weeks. And I noticed, first of all, the lower bruising is almost all the way gone. There's a little bit at the very bend of the knee, but there is a lot of upper hamstring bruising, like a lot that I didn't see before. And the reason why I couldn't see it before is because my shorts were hanging over it. And when I tried to look before, or had my wife look and take a picture, the shorts were blocking it, so you couldn't see it. And this makes more sense to me, because that is how I thought where the tear actually was higher up. And this does look more like a complete tear, because it's even almost 2 weeks in and it's still bruised pretty heavily. Now you can see there is yellow in that bruising, showing that the bruising is starting to go away and healing and that kind of stuff. So just imagine a week and a half ago, that bruising was a lot worse. So anyway, so that kind of updates. The bruising is actually much worse than thought before. I would stand by saying it's a grade 2 and maybe not the grade 3, which is the worst tear. I'd stand by saying it's still probably a grade 2, just a pretty severe grade 2, and that recovery time of 8 to 16 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks is, the minimum typical. That's probably about right. So I've already given you updates about a week and a half in, saying that, this was just a couple of days ago on Friday, but saying how much better I was doing. Friday evening, I actually went out with my wife. We went to Mission Barbecue and, got in and out of the car okay, a little slowly, walk slowly. Of course, I wear a compression sleeve on that hamstring area. And sitting on the hardwood bench was a little bit uncomfortable, but it wasn't too bad, right? Makes sense to me why sitting, especially on something hard, can be more painful for me, because that is where the majority of that bruising is that I didn't see before. It's up high there. So anyway, that's where I was on Friday. So definitely improvements. Now to the point, it's Monday morning. I'm actually recording this Sunday night, but you look at the weekend, especially Sunday, things have improved even more. Mobility is pretty good. I still use the crutch and go half a step at a time to go up and down steps. I'm not using any crutches for walking. Um, so walking is fairly normal at this point. And the only swelling I still have is a little bit that's higher up. And now I understand why that I still had that swelling there, because there still is quite a bit of bruising there. And that's the only bit of swelling that I still have. Otherwise, it's doing pretty good. And, that is basically 2 days short here of 2 weeks, actually 2.5 days or so short of 2 weeks on my recovery of something that typical for my age should take me at least 8 to 16 weeks, 2 to 4 months. And again, what I have to contribute to recovering as fast as I have so far is really three things. It's the carnivore diet, and I've been pretty conscientious about the right types of foods on the carnivore diet, foods that are not only going to lower inflammation, but are going to help with getting nutrients and so forth. So a lot of beef, getting, extra collagen in, so even bone broth a little bit, that kind of stuff, right? So a lot of those types of foods, that's number one. That's the big one, the carnivore, staying away from processed foods, staying away from anything that, contributes to inflammation, that kind of stuff. Number two, I have been taking a creatine supplement. Now, red meat has creatine, right? It helps you with creatine building, building the muscles and repairing. And I'm actually taking a teaspoon a day of creatine monohydrate to accelerate that, right? To maximize the creatine that I'm getting for that recovery. So that's number two. And then number three is the Stem Enhance Ultra, just right here. This is something that I've been taking for over 3 years now. And I doubled my dosage here for the last week and a half or so. And that has also made a huge difference. Stem Enhance Ultra, something made by Cerule. I'll put a link down in the description and probably in the comments for you for that. I will say, yes, I do get a very small commission if you purchase Cerule from me. You can purchase from other people, like Bart K, for instance. He's a huge proponent on it. But if you purchase it from me, I do get a small commission. And if you're interested in actually trying to get that product for free, there's a way to go through and do that. Just hit me up and we can talk about it. You would kind of be a seller of it like me, which I don't advertise it very often, but right now I kind of am, because it's making a big difference in my recovery. And I think it's good to show, what it's doing. But anyway, Stem Enhance Ultra, it helps your stem cells in your body, helps to release them because they get stuck as you get older and they just don't get released throughout your body to help recover. So Stem Enhance Ultra, I should say, helps to release those stem cells, excuse me, throughout your body. And they go and renew and repair and even replace damaged cells in your body. And that helps with recovery of different things. 3 years ago, I basically healed a shoulder rotator cuff injury that I had for years. And it lingered even when I was on carnivore for a while there. It was lingering, and it was better, but still sore. And within 3-4 months or so of taking Stem Enhance Ultra, the injury went completely away. So it definitely helps with that kind of stuff. So that's the third thing. It's carnivore. Eating the right things is the most important thing. And then I'm adding creatine, and then I'm using the Stem Enhance Ultra. So 3 really big things that I'm doing there. And my recovery has been great. It's less than 2 weeks at this point, and I am much further than I should be. Like with a 2 to 4 month typical recovery, I'm at like month 2 right now. Seriously. Or at least close to month 2, somewhere maybe 1.5 months, let's put it there. And I'm just short of 2 weeks. That's how good my recovery is going. And it's actually, I expected to be good, but it's really surprising that it's been as good as it has been. And again, I contribute to those 3 things. So definitely, if you have an injury, you got to get rid of inflammation, get rid of those processed foods, eat more of a carnivore diet with really good protein sources, um, red meat that's going to give you creatine, right? Supplement with creatine if you can as well, and Stem Enhance Ultra. Those three things are going to be huge for recovery.